Hello everyone, this is Robyn and welcome to my Eastern Palace promotion video where I'm going to walk you through how to make 4 bonus projects, 4 cards that you can make with the Eastern Palace Premier Bundle. If you did not pre-order or order the bundle, if you just ordered the starter kit, you won't be able to make a lot of these projects as they're using the Eastern Medallion thinlits. Okay, also, I'm using everything. I was pretty good at keeping within the bundle, the Premier Bundle. The only thing that I'm using additional is I'm not using the Lemon Lime ink pad, and I'm using Dapper Denim instead, and I'm also using some layering circles. Everything else is what you have in the Premier Bundle. In addition to, for those that ordered the Premier Bundle, you also got a roll of the gold ribbon from me. So some of the projects will also include this. Okay, so I'm going to go through this super quickly. I'm not going to write anything on the screen. If you did order either of the bundles, I will also send you a supply list for this class with the sizes on it, so you can make these on your own later if you would like. Okay, we will go ahead and get started with project number 1. This is what we're using for project number 1. You're going to need a Dapper Denim ink pad. If you don't have a Dapper Denim, you could also use a black ink pad. That will probably work just fine. And then we're using just the thank you sentiment from the Eastern Beauty stamp set. Just says thank you on it. I'm using the smallest size circle that we have in our layering circles, and I'm also using the largest circle that we have in our layering circles. This is the die that you're using from the Eastern Medallion framelit thinlit set. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our punches first with our our Big Shot. We're using just a small piece, and all the vanilla I'm using, you can use the thick, very vanilla cardstock came in the Premier Palace suite. So I'm just using a small piece, a scrap piece, and then I'm using a piece of Dapper Denim, and this also was included in your bundle, and we're going to go ahead and cut these out. Let me put my ribbon aside. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my Big Shot, and on the Big Shot I'm going to add my Dapper Denim and my Very Vanilla, and on the Very Vanilla I just want the smallest circle, and on my Dapper Denim I'm going to have this, make sure the cutting side is down, and then I'm putting the large circle around or over it. I'm going to go ahead and cut those out and go forward and back, since the medallion is a little intricate and it really helps if you have that extra pressure on it from going through twice. Okay, we'll set this aside. And now I have my circle. Set that back over here. This will now come right out. And then this part here, just kind of lightly push it open in the middle, push it out, and then set that aside. And now I like to use a paper piercer to get out all of the little extra pieces that we have. And there's really not that many on this one. And they pop right out. They're pretty easy to come out. Okay. Whoops. Trying to get that one out there. I say it's pretty easy, and then I have one that gives me trouble, right? Okay, looks like that one didn't go through in the back. Okay. I'm just going to go forward and pretend that it did. I'm not sure what the problem was, but just kind of do it by hand a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, good enough. Perfect. Let me get all of the garbage out of the way. And then the only stamping we're doing with the Dapper Denim is the thank you. And we're going to stamp it right on our small white circle. Just ink it up and then press down firmly. And there we've got our thank you. We'll set that aside. Now we can start with our Very Vanilla thick card base. You might want to score it at 4 1/4 since it's so thick. I actually am out of the Very Vanilla. I used it all on customer thank you cards, so I'm just using the regular Very Vanilla, and you'll see mine is really flimsy and thin. And we're not able to order that until June 1st, the packages. So I thought I would just use this, and you guys will have the very thick. So don't forget to score it at 4 1/4. Okay, and I have these cut down. This piece is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and this is from the Eastern Palace, is that what it's called? Eastern Palace Designer Series paper. And I'm using that piece. And then this is the Dapper Denim, and this is cut at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. And I'm just going to use some of our adhesive, get that on there. Okay, and now I'm going to use some of this beautiful gold foil sticker sheet that you have in the bundle, the Premier bundle. And I've cut it down to 3 1/4 wide, so it fits across the bottom here. It's the same size. So I'm just going to put that across like that. Isn't that really pretty? And now we're going to use, let me set this aside for just a second. We're going to use this gold ribbon and just some regular tape. I have my pink tape here. We're going to put that on the back here like that, and then just wrap it around twice. I just like the way that looks. Straight across and 2 times. Just really elegant. And then put your tape on the back. And we're going to cut this with my paper snips and set the ribbon aside for later. Okay, so now turn this around. This is now ready to go on to our Very Vanilla cardstock. So put that right there. And now we're going to take our medallion, and we're going to take one of the stickers. We'll take this one right here. And this is going to fit right in here. I'm just going to line it up where I kind of have it so it's in there symmetrical. And then I'm going to take a dimensional. I'm going to Stampin' Dimensionals. Find it. I'm going to add that to the back and put that right here where it says thank you. And now we're going to take more dimensionals. I think I'll use 3. Oops. And put that right here. And there is our first card using the Eastern Palace Premier bundle. Okay, let's move on to card number 2. I'll set this one aside. Card number 2, we are going to be using the Tranquil Tide stamp set, our ink pad. And then here is the paper that I'm using. And I'll tell you the sizes in a minute. Okay, we're also going to be using some of the little tassels, and these also came in the Premier bundle. These cute little tassels. And we're using one of the foil stickers as well. We're using this one here. And we're going to be cutting using, let's see here which one we're doing. Okay, let me get this one ready. Okay, so I'm using the Tranquil Tide, and we're using, which one are we using over here? We're going to be using this one here, and we're also using, there's a little piece that kind of fits in there. Let me see if I can find it. It's right here. It has the dots on the back. So you think the dots are going to be showing through, but they don't. It actually just gives it a really fun texture, and I'll show you what we'll be able to do with that in just a second. Okay, so we don't need to put anything else through our Big Shot. I'll set everything aside. Let me pull my Big Shot out really quick. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here and line this up in here so I have, so it's equal, right? It's lined up nice and precise in there. And then I hold it down firmly so it doesn't move. And I'm going to put my big shed aside, take this out, and this is what I have here. It's really cute. Look at that. So we have this part here that these can kind of pop up a little bit. Do you see that? Isn't that really nice? Make sure you guys can see the light okay. Now, we're going to take another one of our beautiful foil stickers, and I'm just going to put this right in the center. If I can get this off here. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. There we go. And I'm going to put it right in here. This should fit nicely in here. Perfect. There we go. Make sure these are popped up a little bit. And now we're going to put the card together. So I'm using my card base here, and this is cut at 5 inches by 3 3/4. And I'm using some of the beautiful foil that's in that Designer Series paper pack. And I have this cut at 2 inches by 5 inches. Put some adhesive on the back. And I'm going to just put this on the left hand side. Now while I have it like this, I'm going to take a little piece of the gold ribbon. And this is up about maybe 1 3/4, almost 2 inches. You kind of want it up a bit because we're going to add the tassels to it. So turn it over and tape it. And then now our Very Vanilla, I have this cut at 4 1/4. So if you'd like to score it at 5 1/2. And that way, this card, if you've taken my online classes before, it's really hard for me to send cards or cardstock this way because it doesn't fit in my packaging. So it's really fun to be able to do that on this one. Now, we're adding Very Vanilla onto Very Vanilla. And it gives you a nice, I just really like the look of it. I'm trying to think of the name, I can't think of it. It's a nice contrast. It gives you kind of an invisible border. If you can see that, it's really a fun technique. So now I'm going to take another little piece of gold, and I'm going to stick it through the gold tassel and the Tranquil Tide tassel, and I'm going to pull it through the bottom underneath here. This is super easy, so don't get overwhelmed if you think, oh no, I don't know if I can do that. You can do it. We're just going to be tying one little pull here, and then I'm just doing another, like a square knot. No ribbon, no bows or anything like that. I'm just pulling it like this. So you have the tassels on there, and then I'm going to cut these pieces kind of shorter. Okay, so you did it, right? You can do that. It's totally easy, right? So now I'm going to take this here. We're not going to put it down yet, and we're using the little saying. There's 2 sayings that are kind of rounded a little bit, and this one says, "A note for you," and you can also use the other one if you'd like. And I'm just going to ink this up, and I want to stamp it before I have it totally lifted up, and this is just going to be kind of right here. A note for you. And now I'm going to take some of our dimensionals, and we're going to add that to the top. I'll just use, I probably just need 2. I'm just going to use 2 on this one. All right. So now we have our lovely card number 2 Eastern Palace. Just put it right here. Isn't that just gorgeous? So card number 2. So let's move on. We're on card number 3 already. We are halfway finished. I'm really excited. I'm so excited. I love these. I love this bundle. I'm so happy we were able to do this one early. Okay. I'm not sure why I have these ones out. Okay, maybe I'll use the excess right here. I'm going to use these 2 pieces instead of these 2 big pieces here. Okay, so for this card, we're going to need our Tranquil Tide ink pad. And we're also using some of the foil sticker. The paper that we're using, it's actually the same paper, but one piece will be this. We're using this side, and one little strip we're using this side, okay? And this one, we are using as our base, we're using the Tranquil Tide, and this is cut at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I'll just fold this in half really quick. And then I have the Very Vanilla right here, and this is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and we're gonna go ahead and stamp Let's Be Friends Forever. I'm gonna find that one. Let's Be Friends Forever, and this one we'll go ahead and just stamp in the top right. Let's Be Friends Forever. And now we're gonna take the strip of designer paper, the Eastern Palace designer paper, and this is cut at 2 inches by 5 1/4. So it'll fit right on top of this. Should fit perfectly. Okay, and then this little strip is cut at 5 1/4 by 1 inch. And we're just going to put that at the top here. And now I'm going to take this little strip here, and I'm using the one that's just a scallop with the dots in it. And I've cut this also to 5 1/4. So it's the same width as everything else. And I want this one to be turned upside down, and I kind of have it at the very, very top. Is it on the white? I think it's on the white. Yes, I'm putting this, or the Very Vanilla. I want it just to kind of be at the very top of my border here. There we go. Smooth it down because it's a sticker. There we go. Isn't that fun? And now we can go ahead and add this onto our tranquil tide. And now for our die cut work, we're going to have to cut 2 times because we're using the same exact framelit, thinlit. I'm using this one here that looks like a flower, and then I'm using the inside, I'm using this one here. I'm gonna line it up the best I can, okay? Oh, I probably should put on my big shot. And then this, I'm using this one here. You could use any of the circle ones. You really could line up any of these that will fit in there. Whatever works for you, whatever you'd like. And we're going to cut it 2 times. Let me get my big shot out before I line it all up. Okay, so let me do this again really quickly. Make sure this is symmetrical. Okay. And this is on my precision base plate. I'm going to run it through 1 time and then run it back. Make sure I think I forgot to go all the way to the end on the other one. Okay. So this one, you just kind of take these off. And remember, I did a video if you've seen it on my website. This one is still attached, so I just take my thumb and I kind of just pull it to detach it from the cardstock. And a little, and you can do it too, super easy. Okay, now I'm going to set this aside and do my Dapper Denim one. Now I have my Dapper Denim cardstock. Putting my flower on. I'm going to line that up the best that I can. Whoops, there we go. Okay, run this forward and then run this back. And that's all the die cut work we're doing. Did I go all the way through? Let me make sure. There we go. Learned the hard way the first time, didn't I? Okay, set that aside. Go ahead and pull these off. We're not using these ones again, so you can just set them aside. Okay, and then we're doing the same thing. You just pull it through. And if you have any little fuzzy pieces, you can just use your finger and just kind of push them to the back. There we go. Ta-da! All right, now I'm going to take my poker, my paper piercer, and I'm going to poke all these through. I'm going to do this off screen, so this will take you a few minutes. Go ahead and punch both of these through, and then I'll be right back. All right, I have both of these cut out and ready to go. And now I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to add it on the back of the Dapper Denim one, just in the middle. And then I'm going to put that directly, I'm going to kind of stagger it like this. And then I'm going to take one of our dimensionals and I'm going to put that right on the back of this one. And we're just going to put that right on here. So now we have all 4 cards designed. I truly appreciate you ordering the Eastern Palace bundle from me, either one. Thank you so much for your support and your orders. Here are all 4 cards at a glance. And they're so super cute. Actually, that was only 3. Okay, delete that part. Okay, so here's both of the projects. Both of the cards that I've made. So I made one earlier and then there is that one. We have 1 more to go. I think I thought we were done already. And we still have 1 to go. And we're using these colors here and we're going to be using our Fresh Fig ink pad. We need a piece of the Very Vanilla cardstock for just a tiny, tiny little scrap. And we also need a piece of the Fresh Fig for a die cut. We are going to use this piece of Very Vanilla. This is cut at 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches. And then we have this piece here. This is, look at both sides of this, from the Eastern Palace Designer Series paper. This is cut at 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then our Fresh Fig, 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our big shot work first. We are going to be using this one again, although we're not using anything else with this. And we're going to be using this one right here. Where is it? Where did it go? Okay. Oops, ouch. We're using this one with this in the center of it. Okay, I couldn't quite find which one we were using. All right, so let's pull out our big shot and get this big shot work. We're also going to be on our scrap piece of paper. Let's just go ahead and do our stamping now. Let's open up our Fresh Fig ink pad and turn this like this. We're not going to be able to stamp this one yet, Robyn. Okay. We are using a really, really itty bitty tiny, tiny one. So just stamp it really lightly. Don't rock it. Do you guys see it? Really small, really tiny. And then it's a really small and tiny framelit as well. So let's pull that out. Let's see how many of these. I'm going to go ahead and cut this small so I can try to fit more on my big shot sheet. Pull this here. Okay, so on this piece right here, I'm going to go ahead and just, I want this one right here off to the side. We're going to be stamping in the middle of this after we're done. And then this one I'm going to go ahead and cut it to make room for all of them. Let's put this one up here. This piece with this piece centered in it. Make sure that it's nice and centered for you. Okay. And then our tiny, tiny piece right here. Put that on there. Make sure it's around the ink. There we go. And now we're going to put our plate on the top of this. And make sure you kind of press it down right away when you put it on, especially when you're doing stamped images. And I'm not going to go forward and back. I'm just going to go forward with this one so the bottom back pieces don't move. Okay. We're almost done. I can't believe it. So this one will pop right out. And then these will just come off. And that's all we're doing for those. This piece will just pop out as well. And let's take a tiny, let's use one of our glue dots. Put a glue dot on the back of this. And then we're going to put this right in the center here. And this piece will come off like this. And now we're going to take our paper piercer and just poke those pieces out like we did earlier with one of our cuts. I don't know why that piece is not cutting again. Okay, there we go. Pull that out. All right. Almost done here. Pop these out. Pop these babies out. Okay, Now I'm going to take the sentiment that says, to think of you is to smile, and I'm going to stamp this in the fresh fig. I couldn't find it for a second. Stamp that in fresh fig, ink it up. Press down firmly, lift up. Now we can start our layering. We're going to add this piece onto our piece of Designer Series paper. Isn't that fun how it pops through? You can see the color behind it. And now we're going to fold this in half here. Get all of this out of my way for a minute. Fold this piece of fresh fig. Whoops. There we go. Make sure it's not upside down. I've done that plenty of times. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and push these. These are fun because you can also push these up and give it more of a three-dimensional look. Just really fun to do. And we only need one dimensional for this one in the back. And I'm just going to put it right here on the side. And this is a nice simple card, yet elegant. And there we go. So now we're finished with all 4 cards. I'm going to show you the designs that we made. And you guys can make all of these yourself using your Premier Palace, did I say that? Eastern Palace Premier Bundle. You guys know I have problems saying that. I always do. Okay, there you go. You just made 1 of each, but I made 2 of each. You can make as many as you'd like with your bundles. Okay, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks again for purchasing either bundle. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.